Alrighty, time for yet another gear review. This time we're going to review an acoustic guitar. Now this is an awfully small acoustic guitar. What is this? Alas, this is a Little Martin, made by the good folks at Martin Guitar Company. This one happens to be made in Mexico. Now, from what I was watching a video recently that Martin had started their production of their string line in Mexico some years ago, and recently have switched to making some guitars there as well. But alas, have no fear, it is a Martin, and it still plays and sounds like a Martin. This is actually my daughter's guitar, who is 5 years old, and a good friend of mine gifted this to her recently, and it's just a beautiful instrument. I thought, well, let me review it for the channel. I mean, it's essentially like a little travel guitar. You know, it's a shorter scale, really comfortable to play. Obviously a pretty small little body, but it sounds and plays like a great acoustic guitar, unlike some of the little student models you'll find at this range tend to not be that great. So let's talk about the components of the guitar. Now what we have here is we have a Sitka spruce top, a laminated mahogany back and sides. I believe it's a laminated mahogany neck as well, or rust Stratobond, maybe. I think that's what they call it. I don't know if they mean that the neck or the fretboard, which is just, it's a composite. It's wood composites, and they do all these things kind of to keep costs down. But as per most Martins, you know, it's got beautiful DX bracing inside. It has it is all wood still, even though it's laminated. It's just, they do this they put cost down, but it's a beautiful little guitar. It's got a satiny finish. It's got a nice profile neck. It's not too big, not too small. And as I said, it's a short scale acoustic guitar. Great for traveling, great for beginners. Now, I've been teaching guitar for close to 10 years, and, you know, on ages ranging from 6 to, I think the oldest person I've taught was, 58. So if you're going to start out on guitar and you're a little one, I mean, this is great. I think these are $350 new, and it comes with a really high quality gig bag. This is a great little guitar. You know, if you're a little one, I mean, it's not huge, but it's still, if you just want a guitar to bang around, or, you know, you're a traveling musician, you don't want something to write with, and this doesn't take up too much space in the back of the van or anything, these are great little guitars. I mean, it's a Martin, and the craftsmanship is everything you would expect from a Martin guitar. Now, I've owned, let me see, 4 Martin guitars right now. I don't own them right now, but I've owned over my life 4 Martin guitars, and I love Martins. They're my favorite. I recently traded one of my Martins for a Gibson J15, which is a whole nother story. I'll do a review on that later on. But I love Martin guitars. They've always been my favorite acoustic guitar, aside from certain Gibson acoustics, which I love as well. I think they're kind of on par with the sound of them. But Martin does a thing. Martin has a sound. Now, even though this guitar is quite small in the body, you can hear it. Hopefully my microphone is picking it up. It has a really full, rich tone. Now, obviously, because of the smaller body and it's not as loud and doesn't project quite as good. But there's no reason you can bring this out to a party or bring it out to a gig. I know they make a version with electronics, and you could rock this thing and play it at a show, and you'd be good to go. This is a great little guitar. Now, I know I think Ed Sheeran plays a smaller scale Martin like this. I know he has his own, you know, probably custom shop model and all that, but I know he started off, you know, playing one very similar to this. I don't know the story on why he chose to play such a small guitar, but you know, he does amazing things with it, and this is everything you would expect out of a Martin. I mean, the craftsmanship is second to none. The fretwork is impeccable. The construction is, I can't find a single flaw on this guitar. And again, for only $350, Now, granted, you're not getting a USA made Martin anymore when you spend that low of money, but it's still Martin. It's not like Squire or Epiphone for Gibson and Fender. This is still Martin. This is like Fender's made in Mexico kind of models, which are still high quality. A lot of them, a lot of the parts and components still come from the U.S. They're just assembled in Mexico, which I'm sure is the case with Martin as well. Just like a Fender. But there's kind of a stigma with guitars not made in the United States, and I just think the quality control for instruments these days have gotten outstanding across the board, not just the United States, but in Mexico, Korea, and China and Japan. All these places are building guitars that are really high quality. So that stigma of having to spend $3,000-$4,000 on a USA made instrument is starting to break away. Now, I'm not saying that those instruments aren't amazing, because a lot of them are just unreal. Some of the PRSs and even some of the higher end Gibsons, not just Les Pauls, but higher end Gibsons. And there's a lot of great boutique guitar manufacturers here in the United States that are making some really high quality stuff. But you have to pay through the tooth. Now, if you're just a guy who just doesn't have that kind of money, or a girl rather, if you're a person, because I encourage everyone to play, guy, girl, young and old, who doesn't have a ton of money to sink into an instrument, it's really logical to look elsewhere with companies that are making guitars, overseas or in Mexico, because you can get pretty close to the quality you can get with the United States one at a fraction of the price. So that's really great. So again, little mini Martin, just a beautiful instrument. I had to review it. As I said, this is my daughter's guitar, and she's learning. She's just 5, and she knows a couple little chords, and she's strumming a little bit. But this is a guitar she's going to have a lifetime. It's really high quality, put together piece of equipment, so she can have this for a lifetime if she chooses to continue playing guitar. Of course, as she gets bigger, I'd be happy to upgrade her something bigger if she wants. But this is great. I'd play this. I told her, I was like, man, I want one. But this is just awesome. Ooh, beautiful instrument. So there you go, the Little Martin. I hope you liked the video. Please check out some of my other videos on the channel there. And if you like what you see, please hit subscribe. I appreciate all the viewers, and I really appreciate those who come back to see what I'm doing. I'm just a guy in his little music room who works on guitars and plays guitars and has a love of guitar, just like most of you out there. And I just enjoy doing these videos and enjoy the responses I get back from you guys. So I appreciate it. Please hit subscribe, and thanks for watching.